Hi guys, something I've been saying for some time has been backed up by Sir John Curtice, the polling expert. Labour downplaying what they hope to achieve in government will undermine them when they finally get into power. Yes, the Tories are toxic and Labour don't have to promise much to win at the moment. But pointing to an absolute disaster of an economy will allow Keir Starmer as Prime Minister to get away with some things, but this will be short-lived. Curtice warns how after a year in power, Labour could find themselves in exactly the same position the Conservatives are in right now. Have a listen.
I think Labour need to realise that their standing in the opinion polls, very long, big lead as it is essentially founded on dissatisfaction with the Conservatives, rather looking forward with expectation to a Labour government. The public are still saying, we don't know what Labour stand for. They didn't, until now, Labour have not spelt out what this policy was about, and it's only now they're beginning to do so. But the headline, of course, is, well, Labour are now going to do less. And I think Labour need to realise that their standing in the opinion polls, very long, big lead as it is essentially founded on dissatisfaction with the Conservatives, rather looking forward with expectation to a Labour government. They now have rather less to look forward to this morning. And I think the difficulty Labour face is not really whether this is necessarily going to cause them difficulties between now and the election. The challenge Labour Party has to think about is how, given it is, as it's saying this morning, it's going to face a difficult fiscal situation. It's still facing an economy that's doing no more than flatlining. How is it going to ensure that it's positioned itself so that when 18 months on, life is difficult, it may have had to put taxes up, the NHS may still be struggling, the economy may still be struggling, it just doesn't itself find itself in much the same electoral difficulty as the current government. And given that this 28 billion quid was meant to be crucial to Labour's ability not just to change the way in which we got our electricity, but also to actually engineer the economic growth, which in the end is going to be any way out of the fiscal situation in which we find ourselves. I think we're now somewhat less certain this morning that Labour are positioning themselves in such a way that they will be able to ensure they can deal with the slings and arrows of difficulty that will undoubtedly face it if and when it gets into government.
And he's completely correct. Now, he pointed out here the 18 months after the election. So there will be, of course, a honeymoon period where Keir Starmer will be able to do pretty much what he wants as long as he has a significant majority. But as time passes, the public will expect change. They will expect things to improve. And I think a Labour government is going to face massive headwinds. The economic situation is terrible. As he pointed out, the economy is flatlining. There is a little bit of growth one month and then it dips below zero the next month. So we're talking about an economy which is in stagnation. How are you going to change that? And I think the public will expect radical change. Because if the Labour Party don't deliver change in the first few years, they're going to lose support. And this allows the Conservatives to run back in and to take over again. Now, I don't see that really happening in the first Parliament, but if Keir Starmer wants to get his policies through, he needs to be able to maintain support of the party, but also to keep the Conservatives and the right-wing media at arm's length. Radical change will have to happen. He'll need to increase taxes. He'll need to attract investment. And as I said, the economy is not in a great situation. In order to improve that, he's going to have to raise taxes, I believe. He can't go down the road of austerity because that's going to just make the situation much worse. And of course, there's the issue of Brexit. The Tories have postponed Brexit over the last number of years, and these new checks that are coming in at the end of this year are going to make the situation even worse because these are checks that are on goods coming in from the European Union. This is going to drive up prices, and it's going to be very difficult to bring down those prices because this is part and parcel of Brexit. So the only way you can really get rid of that is undoing Brexit, and there's no appetite for that at the moment. What will happen with the NHS? The public are expecting the NHS to improve. Wes Streeting, who will probably be the new health secretary, he believes in the use of the private sector. But of course, that drives up prices for everyone. It means that the NHS will have to have more money available in order to cover the cost of the private sector. Of course, we shouldn't be going down that road anyway. Rachel Reeves is more of a Jeremy Hunt, it seems, than a John Maynard Keynes. So she will be of the idea that we need to cut taxes, we need to cut public spending. So there may be conflict within the government itself between Keir Starmer, who probably wants to spend more on public services, and Rachel Reeves, who holds the keys to the Treasury, saying, no, we need to impose something like austerity. She seems to be of the idea that everything will have to go through her. So if there is increases in public spending, she will have the final say. And she doesn't seem to be of the idea that public spending should increase. Will the Tories and their friends in the media stop Labour from raising taxes, or will Keir Starmer be spineless, even with a big majority? Well, that remains to be seen. It will be difficult for him. He'll be trying to do things that would be unpopular with the public, maybe, unpopular certainly with the media, but he needs to face those down. Keir Starmer will have to show that he's very different to Rishi Sunak. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.